Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Howling at the Moon. I'm Heather Lee Strom, and today I have a very special guest for you, Dr. Isla Fishburne from the United Kingdom. Isla is a conservation biologist, a canine wellness professional, a wolf handler, shamanic practitioner, and channeler of canine souls and consciousness. She brings animal guardians to live from soul consciousness, utilizing ceremony, giving them an opportunity to heal with their canine friends and be in conversation with consciousness. She is also the guardian or the channel of the Canine People. So, we're going to learn more about who she is and what she does in this episode. Welcome to the show, Dr. Isla Fishburne. I'm so excited to talk to you today. You are a bit of a wizard, bringing to our focus and our attention the fact that canines have consciousness and we need to connect with that. Welcome.
Oh, hello, Heather Lee. Thank you so much for having me. It's such a delight and blessing to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I love having you on my show. I've been wanting to connect with you for a long time. Actually, seems like a long time. I think it's only been a year, but feels like it's been a year from today that I became aware of you through someone else over in England, actually, that I interviewed on my show. And he said, "You really need to connect with Isla because she's a lot like you."
Oh, I've got a twin across the seas. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So I've been wanting to connect with you. I haven't had a chance to read a book or do any of your programs, but I'm really anxious to learn more about you and share you with my audience. So why don't we start out with who you are and what you do?
Oh, thank you so much for that introduction and invitation. Hi everybody. I am Dr. Isla Fishburne, and I suppose my work with dogs and canines and animals started a long, long time ago when I was a little child, a little girl. I've always had a love for animals, and particularly a love for dogs. And I always had, when I was growing up as a little girl, I always had a wolf and a bear with me. And I kind of assumed that everyone could see this wolf and bear, and also assumed that everybody else had a wolf and bear with them. And every birth and every Christmas, when our parents and family say to us, what would you like for Christmas? What would you like for your birthday? I'd be like, well, can I have my wolf and bear? But I want them to be alive and real, but small enough so that they can fit inside my pocket, so that wherever I go, they can always come with me without kind of scaring anybody. And I got a little bit older and realized it isn't possible, because the wolf and bear are real to me, but not real to anybody else. They can't see them. And so later on in my teenage life, I kind of realized that they are two of my power animals that walk powerfully with me and continue to do so today. But I spent a lot of time with my wolf and bear. As a child, really fortunately lived in an area in England, in the northeast, where there's a beautiful nature reserve. And I would just spend a lot of my time down there with nature, with the stones, with the waters, with the trees, with the plants, with the earth, having just a recognition and knowing that everything is alive. At that point in my life, I didn't really receive anything back, but I just kind of still welcomed it, said hello to it, still saw it as family and friends. And my love for animals took me on a journey to a degree in zoology, with a passion for conservation biology, getting people to be as enthusiastic about animals, plants, lands, nature as I was. So I suppose I refer myself now as like a spiritual ecologist, getting people to understand that we are an ecosystem. Our animal friends are ecosystems, and we live in this beautiful cosmos, connected to the ecosystem of the cosmos, where we have a galactic family, a cosmic family, as well as family and friends that are in not just human form, but also animal form, but stone form, plant form, and all these beautiful forms, and this connection and um, exchange that we have through communication and conversation with our animal friends. And so that led me on a journey to do a master's and PhD in conservation biology. With my love and desire of dogs, like always wanted a dog when I was a kid, and didn't get my first dog until I was doing my PhD, actually. A wolf dog called Tunkasila, who taught me so much. My desire for an animal was a curiosity around what is it like to coexist with an animal that's not human, how they see the world, how they interact with the world, how I can learn from them. And that was really my focus and attention and intention. And way back when I was a child, fortunately I didn't get a dog because my parents worked really hard, so it wouldn't have been fair on the dog. But I did get a rabbit, and for me, I'm just like, well, the rabbit's got 4 legs. My rabbit Snowy is a mammal, so I just saw my rabbit as a dog. I mean, it was a pretty big New Zealand white as well. So I get
Wow.
home from school, I would take my rabbit for walks, like no lead. I mean, he had the most amazing recall. But down the nature reserve,
Wow.
it was honestly he had the most amazing recall. People could never believe it. So like me and Snowy were kind of inseparable for a year. I mean, unfortunately, he died in my arms, only a year old. So that was quite a
Oh,
trauma for me. So I kind of went a while without having an animal with this um fear really that I'm gonna fall in love with an animal and it's only gonna coexist with me for a year and again depart its physical body. But when I got Tunkasila, she transitioned in 2022. So fortunately we had almost a shy of 14 years together, this beautiful existence.
wow.
It was amazing. I mean, she taught me so much, but so when I was doing my PhD, I really wanted to specialize in wolf conservation biology, really get people to understand our canine friends, what they're doing for the world, what they're doing for ecosystems, what they're doing for health and habitat, how we can learn from them through symbology, connection, ceremony, all these beautiful things. And so then I ended up working with captive wolves for 3 years. And during that time, I fell into a really it was like the best time of my life because I was working with captive wolves, but it was also one of the worst times of my life where I was really considering taking my own life. I just was so confused about the world, so confused about how do I get my message across, so confused just about myself, actually really lacked
Mm.
in unconditional love of myself, which is what our animal friends teach us so much. One of the qualities that they bring and wisdom that they
Yeah.
bring forward. And I remember sitting on this. There was a woodland that I'd visit every day to do ceremony, to speak, to be. And I was just sat on this beautiful tree that I would sit with every day, and I was just crying, 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 crying. And someone as loud as day just said to me, "You are enough." And I immediately stopped crying because I was embarrassed. Right? I was like, "Oh my goodness!" There's someone stood behind me going, "Let's be beautiful for this poor woman that's crying." And I immediately stopped. I was like, "I'm so embarrassed." And looked behind me and there was nobody there. So again, started to cry and I heard again, "You are enough." And from what I remember, like that was the first experience and what I can remember of being very physically aware, like not going in an altered state of consciousness, not going into dream time, not going into a journey time, but just very in that moment. It was the tree that spoke and said, "You are enough." And in that moment, I was like, oh, hello, there is something else. I've just heard nature speak to me and it's just told me that I am enough. And it was kind of from that, even though I've had a really beautiful closeness with animals, and absolutely this beautiful reciprocity of I see you as a living sentient being, I see you as consciousness, I see you as wisdom, I see you as a teacher. You're not here as an animal to be told what to do, or you're limited. In fact, they're way more unlimited than what we are and that we're conditioned
Mhm.
to be. So then I started to go into this exploration, and in that exploration it really has brought me into this journey of being able to connect with our animal friends, channel our animal friends, but also just channel consciousness of nature and high wisdom with my channeling guides, which are various, but my main channeling guides they refer themselves to me as the Canine People, where I'm just channeling from these high, they're not in physical form, they're not in physical body, but these high intergalactic dimensional beings that really bring wisdom for us. But also the reflection is that as they are above, they're also below interacting with us in canine form.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I got chills when you were, oh, let me get her. I got chills when you were telling that story. That was incredible. That must have really changed your perspective in your study of biology.
Yeah, I feel like it's always been there. Like I've always had a spiritual practice, and with that, it's almost like how I didn't fit into academia because it was so, and it kind of still is now. Although I know beautifully slow. So in academia now, the acceptance that everything has consciousness is starting to come in, which is really exciting, but there is still so much to do. But I always had that, and so I was always curious of it. And so I did struggle to fit into the very left brain of analyze and proof and evidence, and this is the only thing, and everything's solid and everything is mechanistic and nothing is connected or nothing can speak. And so I kind of secretly behind closed doors still practiced it. So I'm really grateful that I know that I had that and that I can bring that forward. And it created this different recognition that I see everything as living and everything is alive and everything is sentient. So having that shift, then being able to really hear the tree was a perfect experience for me, because I am a scientist, but I can't unsee what I've seen, I can't unhear what I've heard, and I can't unexperience what I've experienced, but from that place of consciousness, from that place of spirit. And that's why I love to talk about it, because I'm like, guys, it is real, it is a part of us, that
Yeah.
we have this beautiful opportunity to be in both worlds, where okay, we are human and we are physical and how we exist in this physical world, but we're surrounded in spirit, we're surrounded in nature, we're surrounded in consciousness that is speaking to us all the time, because we are also part of infinite consciousness.
Yeah, I love it. So, what was your transition from that moment to realizing that you're dealing with something that's not of this world?
Oh, um, it was excitement. It was a little bit of like, okay, how do I start to explore this and talk about it? And to begin with, there was um hesitancy. It wasn't fear, and it was hesitancy around like, oh, what are people going to say? I mean, I'm really in a place now where I'm like, I don't really care what anybody else thinks about me, but that certainly took a while for me to get there. It was like, what are people going to think
Yeah.
of me? I've worked really hard to get like this position and people to recognize me, and for people to really take note of what I'm saying, because at that point I was talking a lot about canine wellness and how we support our dogs from a wellness perspective. I created what's called the Canine Wellness Wheel, and all these
Mhm.
energy gateways that impact and influence our dogs as ecosystems. But it was almost like my underlying behind all of that, the reason why I was creating that is because I know there's this spiritual side that I'm like, guys, I'm going to jump into, whether you're ready for it or not. So I was like creating all this more biological, physical, emotional, mental, to almost like give myself kudos to go, hey, I know what I'm talking about. But now
Yeah.
that you've got it, and now I can prove, not that I really need to prove, but now that I can prove that biologically I can talk about it, you have trust in me, there's this other side, and this other side is it's the consciousness that we all fall into, even before we give things words, even before we give labels or belief systems or anything. We're existing from this level of consciousness, and I just love it. It just feels so right and perfect for me, that I just want people, that's the place that I want to take people into. That when they allow their own soul to experience, not their head, not their mind, not their brain, not their belief systems, what they have been told is right or wrong, or what they believe is right or wrong, just go into that space of the heart, which is not a mechanistic organ that pumps blood around the body. It is the place, it's the seat of consciousness, of infinite consciousness. And
Yeah.
when we access that space, that's where we start to connect to all of consciousness in all the ways that it speaks to us, which is actually, for me, fortunately, so it can be very um verbal,
Chatty.
but it's not, it's, yeah, it can be, but it's not like this is what you must do. It's still parables and imagery and symbolism, and we are here to grow and learn and to reach that level of consciousness. So if we get that directly of what to do, then we become stagnant anyway. So I can't, for me, I'm like, hey, this is who I am, like me or don't like me, like I know who I am, and I'm guided by that and followed by that, and I know that all of consciousness that I connect to and am connected to, which is everything, they know who I am as well, and that's what gives me, um, that's what matters to me, like who I wish to um, receive support with and from is from consciousness, is from spirit, which I know I'm a part of.
Yeah, and I just want to see if I got this right, because you first heard from the tree.
Yeah.
How did you get from that to the wolf dog? Because it sounded like from your story that I heard, the teachings from the dog people didn't come in until after she left.
Yeah, that's right. So I
So
got
how
this.
did you bridge that?
Yeah, such a great question. Thank you. So I got this. Yeah, the word "you are enough, you are enough," and it was just like instantly. It was like something was planted into me instantly by just getting that. I'm like, oh, for all these years I've known it, I've known it, and not expected, not begged, not pleaded, just gone. I know, and I'm a British white woman in this era, so maybe in a past life, maybe in a future life, but not now. And then I'm like, just literally, just something was planted in me, and then it almost I can't say it was overnight, but just quickly after, it started to stretch over into Tunkasila, where I was noticing she used to visit me, and well, she still does. She visit me a lot in my dream time, and I was just a bit, oh, Tunkasila came into my dream. It was really nice. So I love dreaming about my dogs. It's really lovely. But then I started to realize that there was something more rich and alive about my dream time, and I was like, wow, Tunkasila's actually sharing something with me in my dream time. She's giving something to my dream time. She's offering something to me in my dream time. And so I started to notice this a lot more and take note of what she was bringing, what she was sharing, or just how that dream went. And then that quickly developed into me being able to channel from her. And to begin with, it was written, so I was channeling from her, but it was written. I wasn't kind of being able to speak it. um and then as she was in the last 6 months of her life, kind of dying, really kind of preparing to transition out of her body, it just got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger until the day that she transitioned. I went into a deep ceremony with her for a day and a half. It was this really deep ceremony. I stayed up all night, did this night vigil, and that's when we really communicated. She was to say, hey, you're to wear me, give me this space, this is my actual name, this is, yeah, she just shared so much just in this nighttime kind of ceremony where I was crying, I was mourning, I was in honoring her, I was in ceremony with her, I was holding her as she was transitioning, excuse me, holding her soul as she was transitioning. Um, and then quickly on, that's when I got this message of like, hey, we are here, the canine people, let us share this wisdom. And again, there was kind of a bit hesitancy of, who am I to do this? Or even hesitancy of the canine people. I mean, what? Not the Palladians, not the Lyrans, not the Arcturians. Things that are for me, and again, that's just a belief system, right? That I had to just clear of these high intergalactic beings that are already well known. And they were like, yeah, they're already well known. Like loads of people are channeling those, which is great. But loads of people are channeling them. That's not um your community, that's not your team. We're your team, we're your channeling guides. Don't
Yeah.
dismiss us, don't see us as anything better or worse. We're just for like from a different system. And again, developing that trust to be able to channel, to go, I'm just trusting what comes through, because again, is it going to be really profound, is it going to be really sophisticated, is it going to change the life of somebody? I'm like, that's not my job, I'm just here to share, and
Yeah.
whatever is to be said. And so now I just fully relax into it, like I'm just fall into some water, and there I am, it's coming through. And again, that kind of started as written, but now I just drop into that space, and yeah, whatever, whether it's from the canine people, whether it's from Tunkasila's spirit, whether it's from my own dogs, or whether it's from somebody else's dog that is connected to the canine people, but they're in physical form currently by being a dog's body, I'm just like, this is what's coming through. So it wasn't it came quite quickly, but it definitely was still a journey and an exploration and a following, and just I got like little breadcrumbs to like keep on going, keep on going.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And I have so many questions now since you've shared more. We're going to take a quick little break and then we'll be right back to hear the rest of the story. So you guys stay with us. We'll be right back.
Canine Spirit Guides, The Healing Power of Man's Best Friend by Heather Lee Strom. We've always suspected dogs are magical angels from God. In this groundbreaking book, you'll discover the specific divine gifts our canine companions really possess as they facilitate our healing, elevate our awareness, and expand our consciousness. Man's best friend has their own spirit guides, which is why they appear in our lives just when we need them most. This award-winning book, Canine Spirit Guides, The Healing Power of Man's Best Friend by Heather Lee Strom, is available on Amazon.com and HeatherLeeStrom.com. Get your copy today and begin your journey.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We are speaking with Dr. Isla Fishburne from the United Kingdom, and she is a bit of a wizard with the Canine People that we're learning about her work and what she does and how she met them. And I have a really important question that came up while she was telling her story, and that is, why did Tunkasila wait until she was leaving to share her message and her gifts with you?
Heather Lee, I really love that question. It's such a beautiful question. And when I sit with that question, why? In short, I'm going to give you two answers. In short, I don't know why. And then the longer answer is I can explore. And in my own teachings and traditions as well, there's this beautiful concept of when we ask why questions. And actually, this is something that not only Tunkasila Spirit shares, but also the Canine People share. So when I'm channeling or when I'm going to connect to the soul conscious of an animal, for a guardian, or if a guardian is bringing forward a question of like, I want to know why this, I want to know why this, the Canine People will just say like, don't ask why questions. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but they'll say, don't ask why questions, because we want you to be expansive. We want you to be in your soul, and soul and spirit and consciousness doesn't even exist from the place of why, because why is very much a question that is for the mind. It gives us an answer that the mind goes, oh, okay, that makes sense to me, so I agree with it.
The
Even
ego,
though,
yeah.
yeah, it very much so. So it's not one for me to sit with why, and why did she wait until she was transitioning? Part of me is I don't know. If I feel into it, it was partly because I wasn't ready. Like, her transition had to come for that activation to happen. Almost like the tree saying you are enough planted something within me. Her transition activated something within me so deep, which all along, like not for my entire life with Tunkasila, but certainly when we were kind of getting to that end of her being in her physical body, I just knew. I'm just like, I don't know what it is. I can't tell you how or why. I just know that when she transitions, that is going to shift my consciousness. That's going to shift me spiritually. And so I was kind of waiting and ready for that. So I suppose on that level, it's like a soul contract that we had together, where she came to plant this seed, and her timing of leaving her physical body was the perfect timing for her to go, I've got you where I needed to get you, where I was supposed to get you for this activation. You're there. And as I leave, it's just going to really open that, which is exactly what it did. It was like turning the tap on full. Ready for me, as I say, before she transitioned, I was already channeling, but just through written. But through her being out of her physical body, and even now, she sits here now, even speaking to you, she's here. It's like we are even more connected now that she's not a physical body, and that so that she can be in everything, and that she can be everywhere, no matter where I go. And that created, this ability for me to trust. It's like she's the channel that connects me. It's like she's the in-between that connects me to the Canine People, that allows me to go really, really high dimension, to then bring it back into the density of the physical earth.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's just beautiful and so powerful. And you touched on a great point, because I get asked this a lot. I'm sure you do too, but people always want to know why it hurts so bad when we lose our dogs. I mean, it's a very specific, unique pain when we lose that canine. And what I've been able to tap into is that it opens us up at a level that nothing else can. That
Yeah.
grief, it provides a platform and an opening for the next level, for that deep, profound soul healing, for that next connection, for that next layer of you, the next evolution of you to come through. And that's exactly what you just described. So that was just beautiful.
Yeah, I love that you share that, because the way that I see life, and I never used to, the way that I see life now, and teach and explore, is everything is an expression of spirit. So you are, I am, our animal friends are, and even though, yes, they're physical beings having this experience as a dog, they are still an expression of spirit, a fragmentation of consciousness. but they are in their wholeness. We are the only life form that comes out of their wholeness. So I
Yeah.
always say, our dogs aren't walking around going, "Oh, I wish I was a Labrador rather than this Cocker Spaniel. I wish I was brown rather than black." All these things that we tell ourselves, like, they're like, "Wow, I am this, and it's amazing to be me." Because if they were going to be anything else, they would be something else.
Yeah.
And what I love is, with being an expression of consciousness, they come into our life at a place of, well, what Tunkasila shared with me is animals come into our lives in that exact moment and leave in the exact perfect moment, because
Yeah.
they are the elixir to our spiritual amnesia. And when
Yes.
Tunkasila shared that with me, I was just like, whoa, because it's so true. They are the elixir to our spiritual amnesia. They help us remember by entering our life when they enter, being who they are when they're in their physical body, and then leaving in this perfect time. And it's something that I talk about, because people are like, what do you mean my dog transitions a perfect time? It's not a perfect time at all, but it absolutely is, from that place of consciousness
Yeah.
for, yes, our soul evolution, our soul awakening, for what it is that our animal friend, as an expression of consciousness, came into our life to give us. And so when we sit with the story, the thoughts, the words that we give of like, wow, my animal transitioned, I'm grieving, I'm grieving, I'm grieving. There's three things that I find in particular around that. So the first can be our healing journey of grief. Is grief actually behind grief? What is hidden behind grief is guilt. That we feel
Mhm.
guilty in some way. Was it too soon? Was it not soon enough? Could we have done something better? It's, again, the wounds that we carry about ourselves that are being put onto us from elsewhere, largely from when
Yeah.
we're a child. So it activates our healing journey. It can
Mhm.
also be that we have a fear of transition ourselves, because we are so busy, consciously so, unconsciously so, trying to control our lives as best as we can, that it teaches us, just stop control. Just, we cannot control. We're not here to control. Just let everything go. Or third thing, and this is what Tunkasila taught me, which is now what I bring forward, is birth is a ceremony. Our
Mhm.
life is to be led as a ceremony, and death is a ceremony. So one of the things that really fills my heart with joy, actually, is how we beautify a transition, how we beautify a death. And often we get stuck in the cycle of grief that we can't heal from, because the ceremony was never started. The ceremony was never even completed. So we need to enter this ceremony.
Oh.
And when the people that I've worked with, when they go into this ceremony, they're just like, I don't even know what happened. I didn't even know what was expecting to happen. And I don't even know how it's happened. But yeah, I'm still sad. I still want to cry. I still miss my dog. But yeah, I have this overwhelming sense of everything is okay. And by being in ceremony, it changes, it really brings them into that space of soul. And therefore, this connection of, my dog's still around, but just a spirit. My dog isn't supposed to be a dog forevermore. Like, none of us are.
Yeah.
But now I see them everywhere. I feel them everywhere. And so that's kind of, again, what I love of, even when our animal friends are transitioning, they are still considering us of what it is that we need, as they are trying to bring us into wholeness, so that we can live from that place of ceremony.
Oh, that was so profound. Like, I wanna rewind it because I couldn't even hold on to everything that you were saying. So go back for me. You said 3 things, right?
Yeah.
Now all I remember is the one because it was so powerful.
Yeah.
So go back and just list the 3 things again for
Yeah.
us because those were so incredible.
Thank you. So yeah, and not in any particular order, of course, but often when we, again, guilt, hiding behind grief is guilt. So
Mhm.
again, what extending on that, like, I'm always curious of, when someone starts to feel, so this is part of our healing journey, we have to feel in order to heal. And so when someone starts to feel something, which can be around, for example, my animal friends transitioned, and it's grief, it's grief, it's grief, it's grief. For me, I'm like, the event is irrelevant. What is relevant is the feeling behind it. Because the fact that you're feeling the grief around your animal friend transitioning is irrelevant, because if it is hidden behind guilt, or if guilt is hidden behind the grief, then that guilt you've been carrying that guilt for a long, 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 long time, and it's just now coming forward, A, because it's ready to, and B, because it's been brought forward by the beauty and love of your animal friend. And so yes, number one can be, hidden behind the grief is guilt. Number two can be the just conscious or unconscious needs to control in our lives. Again, from fear, from trauma, from triggering, from what I class as a survival strategy. I feel safe so long as I can predict everything. And we're not here to do that. And one thing that death teaches us, one thing that transition teaches us, we have no control of when something goes, and when like we have no control of that. So it's a teaching around let go of control. Like, what is that you're trying to control? And again, how
Just
are you
let
going through
go.
the healing journey of that? And the
Yeah.
third one is ultimately ceremony. Like, we are transition in any way, loss in any way is an initiation. And what initiation calls for is deep ceremony. And often
Yes.
in a transition, we don't even know how to hold ceremony anymore. But nature
Mm-mm.
does, our animal friends do. Even when they are transitioning, they're in their own ceremony, which gets to be a
Yes.
beautiful thing to experience, to feel, to understand and know. So yeah, to enter a ceremony with their transition. Like when Tunkasila transitioned, and I have had other dogs in the past transition before her, and I was sad I did ceremony, but I'm like, it was okay. But because of what Tunkasila and I have been through, you know, I was going to commit suicide and I didn't because of her. I was very unsure of like, she's a dog that found life very challenging as well. I'm like, if I take my own life, I'm not sure what's going to happen to her, and that's not fair on her. So she kind of in that way saved my life. We've been through an abusive marriage together, like not me and her, like not me and her being married, but
Yeah.
together in an abusive marriage. We've been through so much, and so I just said to my family, my friends, like when she transitions, I'm going to be a mess. I'm going to be fine, because I'm really grateful that I have a different relationship to death than many people, which I'm really grateful for. But also, I'm going to be a mess. You know, there's a lot of history for me in Tunkasila, and I did the ceremony, and I was waiting and waiting. I was waiting for it to come, and it just didn't come. It was a little bit like when you get the hiccups, and then you stop getting the hiccups, but your body's waiting for it. I
Yeah.
was waiting for it, and for me, it was the power of ceremony. And it was so powerful because I do ceremonies in lots of different areas of my life and in different ways. But it really was such a big teaching that, again, Tunkasila brought forward of like, this is what you're to teach, the power of ceremony around a transition. And just hearing that from others that I've done this with and for, and I've guided them to do it themselves for their own animal friend. They report the same thing of just like, wow, I thought it was going to be a mess. And it just creates something else.
It's amazing. You know, I've only just recently become aware of the power of ceremony. And what I find is really interesting is that there's a lot of negative connotation around that word. There's a lot of fear
Yeah.
around the word ceremony. I'm not sure if it's just programming. I'm not sure how far back that goes. But when I first considered going into an ayahuasca ceremony, I was terrified. I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to me? Am I going to be safe? And every time I told somebody about it, I could watch as I said the word ceremony, their body would change, their body would react to it. So let's talk about what you mean by ceremony, because I understand what you mean from my new perspective and how powerful it is. But let's share what that ceremony looks like, especially a ceremony with animals, dogs.
Yeah. Oh, so beautiful. I feel the first thing I want to start with is like you shared the fear, hesitancy, resistance now around ceremony, particularly for Westerners, for modern day humans, is it's because it's unknown. And we are so conditioned, or so we want to feel safe. Oh, if I do this, I can predict it. If I go over here, I know what's going to happen. And the beauty of ceremony is that we are entering the unknown, which is actually how we're supposed to be living our lives, so that we can reach this level of soul consciousness, a little bit like what our animal friends teach us when they transition, letting go of control, starting our healing journey, entering ceremony, everything that tells us like, hell no, let's not do that. But entering the space, and entering the space for ceremony is being able to access and be with the unseen, be with the unseen parts of ourselves, the unseen parts of our animal friends, the unseen parts of nature, the unseen parts of infinite consciousness, by going into an altered state of consciousness, going into a state of what's called non-ordinary reality. Like right now, this is ordinary reality, but around us, it's my shamanic teacher shares with me, like the veil between the seen and the unseen is like the width of like a leaf. It's so
Wow.
thin, this very, very thin veil. So it's entering this altered state of consciousness, or through entering altered state of consciousness, we go into ceremony that is very much led by not thinking, not doing, it's feeling, by calling in the spirit, by calling in infinite consciousness, which is the unseen. And that's the beauty of ceremony. By having strong intention, strong prayer, absolutely what's so important, because when we're entering these spaces, we are incredibly vulnerable. So again, another fear comes up, like, oh, when was the last time we were vulnerable? Who told us that being vulnerable is scary? When was the last time we gave our vulnerability away and actually got trodden upon, or had really bad experiences? But we completely go into the space of vulnerability. So for me, it's then creating this very important sacred space where we do call in, we do pray, we move our body, we do singing, dancing. I mean, it can be something like, you know, taking a plant medicine, but it can be journeying, it can be dancing to the point of that we're entering this altered state of consciousness, but with really strong intention, really strong prayer, really strong focus, calling in our supporters, spirit guides, power animals, spirit helpers, plant spirits, everything is part of it. And it just comes to join us and goes, hey, I'm here because this is what you need. And what's so beautiful is when we enter ceremony, we will only ever get what it is that we need, in ways that may make sense to us, in ways that may not make sense to us, in ways that we may get clarity in that moment, in ways that that clarity may come in 5 weeks' time, 5 years' time, even 50 years' time, because in the space of infinite consciousness and altered state of consciousness, time and space doesn't exist. Like, you're going to need this, so we're giving it to you. And again, it's completely letting go of the mind. The mind doesn't need to know, because the soul and the heart already knows, and so already receives. And so it's very experiential and it's very unique because it's different for every individual. You and I may enter the same ceremony around a particular topic, maybe around the transition of an animal friend, but what it is that we need to receive is going to be very, very different. You might meet the spirit of your animal friend. I might meet a plant spirit ally. You might have a massive purge. I might have a very powerful healing experience physically. Everything is unknown. And even when I enter these spaces myself, if I'm doing it for myself or someone else, I'm like, I don't know. Until I enter that space, I haven't got a clue what's going to happen. I haven't got a clue where we're going to go. I haven't got a clue what I'm going to be taught. I haven't got a clue what's going to show up until I enter that space. And for me, that's what gets to be exciting. But for most of us, we're like, oh, ceremony, it's scary, it's losing control, all the things we're talking about, it's entering the unknown, it's not being able to predict, it's not being able to know. But everything loves us. And so, yes, as we drop into the space of vulnerability, it allows us to go, wow, it is safe for me to be vulnerable. And when I access this space of vulnerability, I receive medicine. And so by entering ceremony, it's receiving medicine without necessarily having to take something, or without necessarily having to go, I need this to make me feel better, and it must make me feel better in 5 minutes' time. The ceremony itself is a journey, which actually tends to begin. One of my teachers says to me, the ceremony doesn't begin when you enter the ceremony and start the ceremony. The ceremony begins once you've left. Once the kind of ceremony part has ended, that's when internally and unraveling and revealing, the ceremony starts to begin. But going back to what you said, I suppose the fear is around the unknown. So how can I predict? How can I know what's going to happen? Well, even I don't know. But that's why we create powerful intention. We create powerful holding. We go into powerful sacred space. We speak powerfully to my teachings of Grandfather Fire. It allows us to be vulnerable, and it allows us, to just be in this space of, wow, here is what supports me, in that place of knowing that consciousness knows what I need, because I call it in. But it is very, very individual.
And it's powerful too. For me, ceremony starts the moment I commit to ceremony.
Yeah.
So if I decide if I get called to work with ayahuasca, I'm working with her from that moment forward, no matter
Yes.
how long it takes for me to get into ceremony with her. She's instigating everything that happens up until that point to get me ready, and I can feel her presence. Also, I want to touch on the fact that in order to really understand and experience and respect ceremony, you have to be in a full state of trust.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to trust the ceremony and know that you are okay. Because I think most people fear that there's a negative influence when we enter into that space. I won't say specifically, but they're anticipating, darkness coming in through the
Yeah.
ceremony, through this opening, right? And that's what scares them the most. But if you are sovereign within yourself and you have total trust in yourself and in your ceremony, um, medicine woman or your leader, your shaman, then that never enters your mind.
Yeah, you're so right, and not at all, because for me, it's absolutely important that the ceremony is created in the right way. And I mean, I know of people that have had experience where they're physically unwell as a result of ceremony because it just wasn't
Oh.
held in the right way. Unfortunately came through from the facilitator was, oh, it's a way to make money, or it's my ego, or
Oh,
it
oh,
wasn't
yeah.
held
Wasn't
correctly.
pure.
It wasn't, no. And for me, that's why intention and integrity is so key. That the ceremony itself, there are steps to it, like you shared of
Mhm.
the second we build that attention or intention, the ceremony and the consciousness and spirit that's going to come through in that ceremony is already starting to happen. Whether
Mhm.
it's through you're out walking your dogs, you're out on a walk, and animals or trees or the wind, or it's already starting to get your attention. What's then happening in your dreams? It may even be someone's like, oh, someone visit me in my dream time and said you are to do this, and now I'm going this exploration of where it is. And for me, like, trust is absolutely key. We have to trust, and I feel that can also be what happens around ceremony, probably deep, deep, deep in the psyche of the collective consciousness around. I mean, certainly for the UK, it'd be like, oh, witches did ceremony, witches are burned at the stake and were drowned. And, it's almost like it's still the taboo of like, don't say that you do these acts because you still might be chased with a pitchfork and set on fire. But
Yeah.
I mean, the message that I get told from the canine people. So this came to me. I was doing a ceremony called a vision quest, a particular type of ceremony. So I was doing this vision quest, and I just kept hearing from the canine people like, return to ceremony, return to ceremony, return to ceremony. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's really powerful for me. Like I will, and I feel that's what I'm doing. And they're like, no, no, no. Like, yes, you are doing that, and you continue to do that, but that is your message. Your message is to bring canine guardians, animal guardians into ceremony. That's the message, that they must return to ceremony, that they're only it's like, we need you, like we need all humans to be in ceremony with everything, and they're not. They're the only living being that has so much influence to do good, so much influence to change, and they're not in ceremony. They must be in ceremony. And so that's why for me, like, I'm seeing life and understanding life like my life is sacred, my life is a ceremony. So when I'm doing the dishes, am I doing it for mundane? Am I doing it from complaint? Am I doing like, oh, why is my life like this? Am I doing it in ceremony? So ceremony, in some ways, is yes, a state of mind, a state of heart. Where am I in my body? Am I in my heart? And am I just sending love of like, oh wow, how beautiful is it to do the dishes? Like, how does the water feel? How can I be putting love into like cleaning the plates, so the next time my family eat, they're eating from cleanliness, they're eating in a clean way. To then these powerful moments of ceremony when something deep is happening, of like, wow, a really big experience is happening, like my animal friend is transitioning, or I'm going through a divorce, or I've got this really bad physical thing in my body that I can't even comprehend. That's when we go into deep ceremony. But our breath is a ceremony. So as we start to understand our life from this place of trust. And that is absolutely
Mhm.
key, because most of us, including myself, I used to live in fear, 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 ego, ego, ego. How can I please? How can people like me? How can I have approval? How? And now I'm just like, I don't know. I just trust. Like, people say to me all the time, but Isla, how do you know? I don't know. I just trust. And that has come through experience as well. As I say, for me, it didn't happen overnight,
Mhm.
but I've done this for such a long time now that I am just like, I don't know, I trust. And that doesn't mean to say my life is beautiful. It doesn't mean to say that I don't have challenges, because that's the whole point. Like, unfortunately, we are to have these challenges to keep growing, to keep learning, to keep shifting, to keep getting deeper into our ceremony and our connection with consciousness, our connection with the unseen. But when we start to build these friendships, build these relationships with all of life, we have this sense of like everything is there, everything supports me. And then we start to notice it more of, oh, I see this leaf falling at the perfect moment. Oh, I see this song come on the radio in the perfect moment. Oh, I see this, my phone is freezing in the perfect moment. Wow, I see my animals transition in the perfect moment. And for me, this is why it's about beautifying the death. There's this beautiful Navajo poem that's called May I Walk in Beauty. And the last part of the poem shares, it ends in beauty. It ends in
Ah,
beauty. And I'm like, that's what our ceremony is. Our life is a ceremony. And as a ceremony, ceremonies are beautiful. And our
yeah.
final ceremony of our final breath does end in beauty. And that's what
And
ceremonies
part of
are. They are,
yeah.
when they're done in a sacred way, when they're done in the right way, when they are done with this powerful intention. And I can't express that enough. The holding is really important. If it's not
Yeah.
held correctly, then yeah, it can be unsafe. And I think that's why it can also be scary for people. But if you find the right teacher, the right practitioner, the right facilitator, and you'll know this is someone that is integral, this is someone that's got it, then yeah, when we enter that place of trust, it allows us to start that healing journey to go, I don't need to fear anymore. Or again, I can catch that fear and question it like, oh, I've been so fearful all my life over this, over that, over the other. And wow, that's kept me small, that's kept me back. And now I just keep trusting. I just keep trusting. So it opens up, it opens up, it opens up.
That's beautiful. Isla, it has been an incredible experience having you on today and to speak with you in such depth. And we're going to have you back because we're not done. We're not done talking. But thank you so much for joining us on this show. And is there any last parting? Oh, let's share with everybody how they can reach you.
Oh, yeah.
How can everybody connect with you? You want to share?
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, my website is kachinacanine.com, and all my services and offerings and ceremonies are on there. I'm also on Instagram, so Kachina Canine Wellness or Kachina_Canine_Wellness. Facebook, either personal is Isla Fishburne. My business Facebook is Kachina Canine, and YouTube is Dr. Isla Fishburne hyphen Kachina Canine. I also have a YouTube channel as well, so it's all the many ways that you can, you can find
Oh,
me.
amazing. Yeah, and we'll put these links down in the description of the interview as well too for
Thank
people to
you.
find you. All right, everybody, we're going to sign out and look for her second interview to be released at some point in the future. Thank you so much for joining us. Love you.
Many blessings. Bye.
All right, that's a wrap for now, you guys. If you've been enjoying my show, please be sure to add it to your library and share it with your friends. And then come back every week for more compelling guest interviews or advanced energetic frequencies from the Canine Spirit Guides. And if you're looking for more, check out my webpage, heatherleestrom.com. I'm Heather Lee Strom. Don't forget to elevate your frequency and transform your reality. Make life magical. Love ya.